I'ma keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. Ooh. I'ma keep winning, winning. You can try to save yourself, keep winning, but you only.
What's going on, guys? Jake came back with another video, and today I'm going to be looking at Field Yates' mini mock draft. He does a little mock draft where he just does the top 10 picks. But before we get into it, please make sure to like the video, comment down below anything you agree or disagree with, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for future NFL content. I might be putting out whether it's NFL draft, pro days coming up, or with the rest of free agency with anything like that. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with all that stuff. So Field Yates here, he put out his top 10 mock draft here. He hasn't done one in a while. Mel Kiper hasn't done one in a while since before free agency. So I expect both of them to be coming out with one here soon. Also Daniel Jeremiah. But with this one, this is pretty much just the top 10 picks that he has going out. So I'm going to go through pick by pick and start out with number one. He has Cam Ward, Miami. I think it's pretty much secure that at this point, after free agency, the Titans, if they wanted to go with Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, they would have somehow added a veteran quarterback or a quarterback in free agency. But now, since we're kind of getting towards the end of free agency, there's still Russell Wilson out there. There's still Aaron Rodgers out there, but there's been really no rumblings of them going to the Titans. So I think that the Titans have pretty much made up their mind that they're going to take Cam Ward because if you look at what they've done in free agency, they may not have gotten the best offensive lineman rated, but they went out and they got a lot of protection on the offensive line and they've buffed up the defense. I think that they're trying to make it the best possible opportunity for a rookie quarterback to be able to come in and be effective right away. And I think that's kind of what they're lining up because they went and surrounded the quarterback position. I think that they're going to come out and try to get Cam Ward number one. I think he's kind of locked himself in. I think we already knew, even if it was the Titans or not, whoever was picking number one, it was going to be Cam Ward, where they traded out. But I think right now they've decided that they're going to stick in and end up taking Cam Ward at that number one spot. And number two is very interesting here. He has Travis Hunter going too. It's going to be interesting with the Browns because there was rumors that they're bringing in Russell Wilson. They just traded for Kenny Pickett. So if they bring in Russell Wilson, I do think that this is going to be a little bit more likely because then they have two veteran quarterbacks in that spot. But if they don't, do you really go into the season with Kenny Pickett as your starting quarterback? And you'd probably have to bring in someone else. So I think if they don't get Russell Wilson, it's more likely that they would take a quarterback here. And it's weird because all the reports have been saying that the Browns are going to take a quarterback here and that they're looking at Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, whichever one's there. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if those reports are true or if it's just smoke kind of just coming out of the Cleveland organization. But they're at two, so who necessarily knows? Maybe they're trying to avoid the Giants trading up to be able to take Cam Ward. And I think if they want a quarterback, they're going to have to trade up that one spot. And the Titans have to be able to declare that they're not wanting Cam Ward or Shador Sanders and are looking to trade back. But it really just depends on if they go out and get Russell Wilson. If they go out and get Russell Wilson, I could easily see him coming out and taking Travis Hunter here. And all the reports originally was that they're going to look in the veteran quarterback market, and then it started to kind of come out around the combine with Adam Schefter and all those guys that it was definitely the Browns were looking to take a quarterback early with their first pick, and it was almost like 100% guarantee that the Browns were going to take a quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see over the next month how that develops, and they're really the big question mark at this point. 'Cause I think the Titans kind of have declared that they're going to be taking Cam Ward, like I've said, and I think it's really going to be looking at Cleveland to see what they do. Because if they take Travis Hunter, then it's going to pretty much change the whole draft for the Giants based on who the Browns end up taking. But the Browns end up taking Travis Hunter here, so move on to the Giants. They end up getting Shador Sanders. The Giants definitely do need quarterback. The rumor was that they were still looking at Aaron Rodgers. At to this point of me recording this, Aaron Rodgers still has not signed with any team. So that also depends on what once those two dominoes fall. This top three is going to get a lot more clear with Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers once those are decided. But I think Brian Dable, they're really looking for somebody that's going to come in and make an impact right away. Their jobs are on the line. They probably going to be fired if they don't end up coming in and making an impact and don't win about 8 games ish. Brian Dable and the GM are both going to be fired, so they haven't done a whole lot in free agency. They haven't really signed a whole lot. So they're really just kind of looking to get that quarterback that they can develop behind and kind of make a case to be able to keep their job after next year. And Shador Sanders, if he falls here, it's definitely gonna be one of the two quarterbacks taken if they're still on the board. But if they go the first two picks, it's probably either gonna be Travis Hunter. I would assume, just because he would need to get more talented. But Shador would be fine here if he's on the board. They're definitely going to end up taking quarterback. And then we move on to the Patriots. This is the dream scenario for the Patriots. The Patriots are pretty much just praying that Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter and two quarterbacks go in the top three. They're pretty much just sitting here hoping that Cam Ward and Shador Sanders get picked in the top three, both of them. Because if both of them do, they either get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. And they brought in some defensive help. They brought in Harold Landry. They brought in Milton Williams, and they still have Christian Barmore. But they still do need another edge rusher to be able to pair in there. And Abdul Carter, the Patriots are just pretty much taking best player available. I could see them if Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter aren't on the board here and they're taken in the first three picks. I could easily see the Patriots trading back and looking for a Tedero McMillan because they pretty much struck out on their receivers. They were gonna make a move towards Chris Godwin, but Chris Godwin ended up going back to the Buccaneers and signing. And they really haven't really signed any good playmakers at the receiver spot throughout free agency. So I could easily see them looking to move back and try to gather picks to get more Mike Vrabel type guys in there and be able to look at Tedero McMillan. But if Abdul Carter's on the board, you're not passing on him and you're pretty much taking him, and he would fit very well there in New England. The Jacksonville Jaguars, this is pretty much the most chalk pick at to this point for everybody doing mock drafts. Everyone pretty much is going to have Mason Graham to the Jaguars. There was a little bit of rumblings where they ended up releasing Evan Ingram that maybe Tyler Warren could end up sneaking up here to number 5 for the Jaguars to try to surround Trevor Lawrence with the best possible ability to succeed after having a down year. But I think they're going to be looking at Mason Graham. If you look at free agency, they attack some other areas on their team, and they kind of left the interior of the defense line because I think that they're pretty much planning and looking at that they're going to take Mason Graham. There was a little bit of questions with Mason Graham that maybe at the combine he came in a little bit shorter and a little bit lighter than what a lot of people would think, but he has a lot of good tape and he put a lot of good tape on film. So once you go and look at it, you see that none of that really affected him. He's pretty much just a game wrecker on the interior, whether getting after the quarterback or being a run stuffer. So that's really what the Jaguars need to be able to help out Josh Allen and to be able to help out Trayvon Walker, both on the edges. So I think that's really just what they need on the interior with one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. So I think that this is the most chalk pick that people are looking at. And at number 6, the Raiders, after just trading for Geno Smith, they're going with Ashton Genty. This is the pick that I've been having in my mock drafts. I think the Raiders just need more talent. And the argument kind of is maybe they should trade back and get more picks because how much of an effect is Ashton Genty going to have on that roster because they're not very talented? The Raiders are one of the least talented teams in the NFL roster-wise, I would say. And after going in and getting Geno Smith, I think that they're really just going to look at best player available, and they don't really have any other running backs. They didn't sign any running backs in free agency. So I think Ashton Genty really is going to be the play here for them. And I think that he is going to go number 6. He didn't work out the combine. I think he didn't work out the combine just because he knew that he heard some words that he's going to go higher in the top 10 than maybe some people originally thought. So a lot of people have maybe number 10 to the Bears. But I think really the chalk pick right now that I agree with. They just need more talent, and Ashton Genty at 6 is going to be able to pretty much fit them as well as to where they need to go and to get more talent just in that offense. Number 7, New York Jets, Armand Minbu. This has kind of been one that is starting to go. Um, as kind of chalk as well. Everybody's starting to do this pick as well ever since the combine. And Armand Membu being the first offensive lineman on the board would not shock me. His athleticism and his ability to go out and show that at the combine. I've done breakdowns of all the offensive linemen in this class on the first 2 rounds pretty much so far. So if you haven't seen those, please go and watch those breakdowns of each one of those guys. And in my Armand Membu breakdown, I definitely seen he's a right tackle. He only's played right tackle. So that would fit very well with the Jets because the Jets pretty much have their 5 guys solidified. And they really just need that right tackle spot. And if you look at it, they let Morgan Moses go and walk in free agency, who actually went to New England after they were ended up signing some protection for him and for Drake May. So once Morgan Moses went to New England, the Jets just have a big hole at right tackle, and they brought in a couple Guys that would be considered just depth signings that would come in. They're not necessarily starters. Chimega Adoku was one that was ended up signing, and he's kind of struggled the last couple of years. He kind of quit on the Patriots last year, so they really do still need a right tackle, and that's one of the biggest needs. They could still go Tedero McMillan to try to get a number two with Garrett Wilson, but with Justin Fields in there, I think their identity is going to be more running the ball, and they're going to try to run it down people's throats. And with Aaron Glenn, with Justin Fields, with Brees Hall in that offense. And Armand Membu would be able to be that. He's more of a run. He gets a lot of movement in the running game. He also has a very quick first step from what I've seen on film. He does a great job of stealing the edge on outside zone plays. So he's more of a run and technical type blocker. I think that's going to fit in there with the Jets as well at right tackle at the position that they need. Moving on, number eight, Tedero McMillan. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. With no edge players off the board, I do think that the Panthers are going to be looking at defense. I think that they're going to be looking to address the defensive line specifically. They brought in a couple secondary pieces, and that defense was just one of the worst in the NFL and did not have a lot of talent on it. I think that they really do need to focus on the defensive line since they didn't really, they almost brought in Milton Williams. Milton Williams looked like, and the report was he was going to sign with the Panthers, and then he ended up going to the Patriots for $6 million more a year, and so they pretty much overpaid for him and outbidded the Panthers. So the Panthers still do need defense line help, whether it's interior or the edge. I think right here at number eight that they're going to be looking for more of an edge player, whether it's Mike Green, whether it's Shamar Stewart, one of those type of guys here at number eight. Um, so I really do think that they're going to be looking more at that edge and not looking so much on offense. But I don't necessarily hate this. You do need to get more weapons for Bryce Young, and the Panthers don't really have a weapon like Tedero McMillan, so they really just need to be able to go and get more weapons for him as well. But they're bringing back Adam Thielen. You still have Leggett, so I think that they're going to attack more the defensive side, in my opinion, and go with the edge player here. Number nine, Will Campbell. This could be a spot for Tyler Warren as well, but the Saints really just need a new left tackle or interior piece. Will Campbell can do both of that. I'm not the biggest fan of Will Campbell. Me personally, I would take one of Tyler Booker or Kelvin Banks or Armand Membu over him. Obviously, Membu's not on the board here. He was the first offensive lineman taken. But Will Campbell, I think that he has to play left tackle. If you draft him as a guard, for one, you're not going to draft him too high because you don't really draft guards too high. And for two, he just doesn't play like a guard for me. He's not that huge run blocker. He's not going to bully people off the line of scrimmage. He is a stalemate most of the time whenever he's playing. And he plays very high for his position. Like he just stands straight up and he gets beat a lot of time on his interior when he's pass setting that left tackle. So I think he's naturally, if he wants to work out in the NFL, it's going to be left tackle. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think he's probably like the third or fourth best offensive lineman in this class. But the Saints do need an offense line. Trevor Penning's been kind of disappointing. They still have Talisa Fuaga there, who played pretty well, but he was injured a lot of the year. So it really just they really just need offensive line help for Derek Carr and whoever's going to be their quarterback in the next 2 years. So maybe you could play Will Campbell at guard. I don't necessarily think that he's going to work out there. I think he needs to play tackle and kind of replace Trevor Penning. So this could be a Tyler Warren pick, but they brought back Jawan Jennings. So I don't necessarily see them going tight end. I think that offensive line is more where they're going to go. I just don't necessarily like Will Campbell here. Number 10, Tyler Warren. I think this is another good one after the combine and free agency. Seeing the Bears, they came in and they attacked offensive line and free agency. They brought in Drew Dalmore. They brought in Joe Thuney. They brought in Jonah Jackson. And they pretty much just completed their offensive line with those five guys in there to be able to help protect Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was one of the most sacked quarterbacks last year and in NFL history as a rookie. So they really just need to come in, attack the offensive line. Ben Johnson's scheme, it's about more running the ball and dominating. That's what he did in Detroit. So that's what he's trying to do, bringing in these offensive linemen. And I think that they're going to shy away from the pick. If Genty's still here on the board, I do think Ashton Genty is the pick here at number 10. I could see an Amarion Hampton from North Carolina, the second best running back in this class, being taken here at number 10 for the Bears. But I do like the Tyler Warren pick. I think this is going to be starting to become more common with a lot of these last couple picks throughout free agency. A lot of these guys are starting to become more chalk and more free agency to certain one of these positions to these teams. And I think Tyler Warren's going to kind of be like that. I think Tyler Warren and Cole Kmet, although they're kind of similar in my opinion, I think that they could be a great duo. In Detroit, Ben Johnson used a whole lot of two tight end sets with Sam Laporta and Brock Wright. I think that would be the same way here with Tyler Warren and Cole Kmet there. Having both those tight end spots and being able to use Rome and DJ Moore on the outsides with the two tight end sets. Once you get a dynamic running back, it's going to fit very well, and the Chicago offense is going to be turning with Caleb Williams. So this is my reaction to Field Yates's mini mock draft with just the top 10 picks. Please make sure to like the video, comment down below anything you agree or disagree with, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for future NFL content. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, feel like John Morant. Need a triple double. Told him check the stats. Yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball. Now I never fumble. I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant. Need a triple double. Told him check the stats. Yeah, I got a couple.